already know the issues which the country is facing. We are here, the World Bank program. The issues have been oversaid and emphasized across the board.
Correct.
What is it that the citizens, Zimbabwe at large, should look at ahead of the 2023 national budget?
Okay. So the starting point that we need to see a budget which is focusing on transformation of the economy, which is a market-driven budget. You know, for the last 4 years or so under this dispensation, it was more of a command-led budget. When you look at the distribution of resources, more money going to agriculture, but as you have seen in this discussion, no result in terms of productivity. But when you have a budget which is focusing on providing incentives for market-led agricultural sector, as an example, and I'm emphasizing agriculture because it's central role it plays in the economy, where you are promoting value chain through taxes, because that's what the budget can do, where you are encouraging value chain financing models, and you then forgo some taxes. So, for example, incentives which must be prevailing in the special economic zones can also be given to companies which are supporting local content, local production, and consumption of local goods. Then we are creating jobs when we are doing that. But when you have a budget which is giving several trillions of dollars into agriculture, and the people are not using that money for production, and even when they've been produced, they don't pay back that money. You see national debt growing. That the budget is against the aspiration of going to 2020.
Bringing this down to layman points of view, are citizens acquainted with these budgetary issues? I understand that there are budget consultations going on around the country. The participation of citizens in these budget consultations, as well as the understanding itself. What is your view?
My past experience in the budget consultation, I think of the last 5 years or so, I've been that in the initial stage of the consultations, last few years ago, there was kind of more participation of people getting into the budget consultations. But when you look at the submissions made by people who were taken by the Ministry of Finance, they were very limited. So there's kind of negative attitude by the citizens now to participate in the budget, because what's the point? Even as experts, we've made submissions to government on what should be on the budget. Focus on the market-led. Here we're just talking about the commodity exchange. Use it as a platform to finance in market agricultural commodities. Government must get out of financing and marketing of agricultural produce. They don't take it. We've been talking about avoiding use of cash in funding roads and the long-term infrastructure such as dams. Government has not been taking that, right? We've been talking about removing distortions, right, in the economy. And distortions are also caused by the procurement system of government, where the government now becomes like the economy, right? And of course, also have the monetary policy playing their own part. But we still have distortions. Where have you ever seen in the economy where through formal foreign exchange trading markets, the auction system, the willing buyer, willing seller, of course, these are not within the purview of the budget, but the Ministry of Finance oversees also the Reserve Bank. Well, so these things are not taken on board. But we have talked about the issue of currency. We need one currency. We need the Zimbabwean dollars. But when you fail to defend the Zimbabwean dollar, you need to take a break and go for the US dollar. Last year, when we were doing the budget consultation, we told the Minister of Finance to say, at this moment, I think we have failed to defend the Zimbabwean dollar. Let's dollarize for now and put the framework. So we wanted a budget which was supposed to be in the US dollar terms, but he refused. That was in Victoria Falls in budget consultations. But what then happened this year? He is paying salaries in US dollars. But where is the accountability and transparency? Where is he showing how much money has been paid in US dollars? And it becomes a challenge. So people now there's no fatigue in terms of the discussion.
You actually gave a comment on social media on the submissions that were made by Foreign Affairs and Trade, asking a question: where is the money going after exports of a total of about 6 billion? If we include the remittances from diaspora, where do you think the money is going?
Corruption. So if you look at this year, there's been a lot of corruption on the auction system. Because when you have distortion, particularly during the time when the disparity were 100% difference between the official market and the black market rate, there were people who were getting foreign currency on the auction system, right? Because you just don't need to go into production. You get money on the auction system, you run and change it on the black market, right? You have a fat RTGS account, you go back on the auction system, right? But that is the cause, right? So the big elephant in the room is corruption, and I'll give you the figures. We have every year $1.8 billion being lost through illicit financial flows. How is it lost when you have this state security system, ZIMRA, Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, but there's an illicit financial flow? That $1.8 billion is lost every year. Well documented. What is causing that corruption? That is the money which is being drained from this country. Now, you also have the report by Auditor General, where she has shown that even where government departments have paid for some services and even motor vehicles, they were not delivered. But you leave them with that money. But also the pricing regime, which has been saying all over and again, if you follow my discussion on social media, that government has been paying rates of at a rate of $2,000 per US dollar against a black market rate of $800 official black market rate in the black market rate. But the government is paying that. Do you think the many people in the Ministry of Finance are daft? Why are they now saying today, even those chickens they were buying at $36 per 2 kg, were they blind?
Isn't it an issue of late payments?
But you are saying a chicken cannot be costing $36 for 2 kgs. Why are they now screaming now? Why, even if there's late payment, how do you pay for a laptop? How do you give a contract for laptop at $9,240? So that is how we are siphoning our own foreign currency from the market. Because even when you look at the pricing regime for government in US dollars, they are double pricing. A commodity which should go for $1 would go for $2 in US dollar terms. We even hear that even roads which are being constructed, it should cost you $1 million per kilometer. But you then hear an accidental evidence that it's costing more than $2 million per kilometer. You hear.
But why is it that currently things seem to be more difficult than before?
Because money is good. You know, when the system is entrenched, when the corruption is now institutionalized, to the extent that everyone who wants even to monitor corruption is now corrupt. Like if you look at the parliament of Zimbabwe, look at even the Ministry of Finance, we should be overseeing how much have they overspent in 2020, unauthorized expenditure without the parliament, $100 billion. And how many double payments they've done last year according to the audit report? Several double payments. So the system is now rotten. And we cannot then account for our money. And you should also ask yourself, why are we not having accounting in the currency of trade? As what Jim was saying. Because they don't want transparency. Why is the Minister of Finance assuming debt on behalf of the citizens without going to billion, which he used without going to parliament? So these are things which are coming up, which we are saying, that's why we cannot account for the money we should get as a country.
So could it be a protest in terms of participation to the national budget?
People are tired. Even if when you're a father, if we come and tell you what we want as children and you don't do it, why do we keep on telling you? Why?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mugano, for the comment and views and opinions.
My pleasure.